Hi, this is Chris, aka Big White. Today I am doing a speed video with markers on the topic of markers. Today's prompt word is soup, so I wanted to do a witch's kennel, I think that's what they're called. I have about 47 days with markers. I started out with Inktober, and I was told that you weren't allowed to use color pencils, and that's what I am an artist with for the longest time is color pencils. So I went and ordered a set of Chinese markers because I didn't know if I was going to want to use markers. Bought a black and gray set of Art Loft at Michael's just to get into using markers. Like I said, I have always been a color pencil artist. I actually have the Prisma Premium 150 set. So I was actually kind of nervous using markers because I didn't know how to blend and all that. So I watched a lot of videos on different techniques with markers, with tip to tip and using light to dark method. And once I actually understood how to use markers, I actually fell in love with them. So the Chinese one of Art Loft, and then I have a set I bought from Joann's Fabric, and I cannot remember the name of them. I'm not sitting in front of my markers right now, but they start with S, and I can't remember. But the thing that I've noticed with those markers is I like to draw sometimes with fine detail, and if you color with markers in your fine detail spots, you have bleed outs. I've used different papers, marker paper. I've used cardstock. I've used mixed media, watercolor paper. I've used a bunch of different papers, and I still get bleed outs. Until I went and bought the black and gray sets of Copics, because the Art Lofts, they run out. You can literally do 3 pictures and you're done. And I can't see myself spending $3 on a marker and only getting 3 pictures done. To me, it makes no sense. So I went and bought the Copics, like I was saying, and I've noticed that you don't have the bleed outs with Copics. You can get really fine details with Copics, have the bleed outs of your lines. I don't know if there's a difference in their inks and Copics than the other ones. I know everyone is an alcohol base, but Copics is the. So what I'm thinking of doing, I was going to buy the Blix set on Black Friday because it's coming up here soon. Because right now it's $200 and you get 96 markers, I think. I think I'm going to buy the full set of Copics. It's $1,800, and I know that's a huge leap. That's a $1,600 difference, but I have been really falling in love with markers. The difference between color pencils and markers, excuse me, is that you can produce art faster than you can with color pencils. Color pencils, on average, set down for a picture is 2 hours. With markers, it's only 40 minutes to an hour. Somewhere's in there. And you get good quality art. And I noticed the difference with Copics than the other ones is phenomenal. It all dealing with color pencils. So that's why I really want to buy the bigger set of markers, and that way I can have all the colors. I know there's going to be colors that are really close to each other in tones, but you get that with the color pencils, and trust me, you'd still use all your colors. Some of them have a warmer tone, some of them have a colder tone, in the colors. Some are richer, some are duller, some are earth tones, blah blah blah. You know, I can go on and on about that, but that's why I'm pushing Copics. And then I've watched a lot of videos of people saying this, you know, Copics this, Copics that. And I always have been a big believer that you don't need the most expensive tools to produce great art. But I have noticed it is different with Copics. Copics is a tool that you can really use to your benefit, and you don't have to. I mean, you still have to worry, but you don't have the big worries like the other markers. Don't get me wrong; the other markers, they're rich, they're and juicy, but that's the problem. Is I think they're whatever they're using for alcohol, it makes it bleed out more, and I'm not a big fan of that. But that's the subject of the day, I guess you want to say. Is Copics is the better marker than the rest of them. Um, I know that everybody's saying that Blix is the closest to it, and I thought about buying the 24 set of Blix just to test and see if they are. But the only thing about Blix is they only have 96 colors, and I'm telling you, I looked at their color palette, and sometimes it's hard to go from dark purple to a lavender and have it blend out unless you have two other markers to blend with it. And that's where Copics does, is you can blend your dark purple to your lavender and not have this streak in the middle where you can see the transition. Where I looked at Blix, and Blix has only got, you know, a couple good purples, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have that issue where you're gonna see the transition. And sometimes you don't want to see the different transition of the markers. You want to just go straight smooth blends, you know, and that's why I'm really looking for the Copic markers. But I know it's hard to invest in a large sums of money on something that you don't know if you're going to want to use. I say try the cheaper markers. Get into using markers. See if it is a media that you're wanting to try. Because you don't want to just go and jump on the bandwagon everybody else has jumped on and use Copics and realize it is something that you're not going to want to use. Then you're going to have to try to get your money back. And most likely you're not going to get all your money back. So yes, please try to use the cheaper markers to see if it's something that you're wanting to get into. If it's a media that you want to get into. I wish other videos did that. Instead of just screaming and yelling, Copics this, Copics that. I wish they would explain the difference in the Chinese cheap markers and the Copics markers. And I'm hoping that this video did kind of sum that up for you. But I personally am going to buy art, or not Art Loft, but Copics from now on. I'm done using the other markers just because I really like how Copics is working for